What happened before that? Like, how did you end up on the cruise ship?
Just because my dad's a music teacher. I got my degree in economics and political
And are you
science.
from New York? Yeah.
I'm from Massachusetts.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but I just wound up in New York.
So you always like played bass? Was that like
yeah?
yeah.
My father like when I was in 7th grade, like I picked up a guitar and I wasn't playing chords. I was just playing lines. He's like, because he was a middle school music teacher. He's like, oh, you're a bass player. So he's like, sticks a bass in my hand and like, I started learning like all these tunes he'd play on like gigs.
What
like,
kind of stuff?
Like Barry Manilow tunes, like standards, which I hated, but I figured out how to play. And it's just like, ugh. But it was all, and most of it was by ear. So like,
You're just transcribing it, yeah.
Well, I mean, I know how to read music, and I've gone through a lot of that period too. But yeah, it's interesting because it's just like there's so much music since when I was a kid. Because of that, my older brother was an influence too. My older brother's a really good trumpet player, and he had a big musical influence on me too.
Yeah. And what did you just sort of like? What did you go to college or anything like that?
I did. I just went to business, like what do you call it?
Business school?
Fucking, what do they call it? Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah.
Liberal arts. Yeah. Usual shit.
Well, and did that and then just carried on playing bass throughout it?
Yeah, I mean, I always had. So it's like, I decided after college, like, I had an interview with like an insurance company.
Nice.
I saw visions of myself hanging from the, like Mad Men when the guy hangs himself in his office. I'm not doing that, even if I have to struggle. So I just went into music.
And then,
I went right to playing on cruise ships. So that was like the easiest gig you could start doing. Didn't pay much, but you play.
I've done them, man. I did. I've done like loads of contracts. Yeah. How many contracts did you do?
Like every night, it's like a Miller Lite and a shot of vodka. It's like,
right.
Put on the tux.
So where did you do it, like all around the world?
Yeah, kind of. And then a lot of like Florida and the Caribbean,
Yeah.
A lot of white trashy cruises. It was fun.
Yeah, I've done them. They're awesome, man. If anybody's like wondering whether they should like work on a cruise ship, if you're like, I would say younger. You've got to be younger. For me, I wouldn't like to do it like now.
Yeah,
it'd be awful.
And the thing is like if you give a shit, you can start picking up good habits. Like you learn how to really play because you're playing every day.
Did you learn how to? Was it sort of like a big thing for you that?
Yeah, because what the first ship I was on was a bunch of older guys, and they just were telling me how much I sucked.
They just kicked your ass, yeah.
So I was like, it's just like that's when you have to shit or get off the pot. Like, do you want to keep sucking or do you want to get good? So I decided I want to get good.
And could you read by the time you were on the
I could read. It was reading all chord charts and stuff. And actually, it was a lot of like, also we were the house band, so it was like a lot of Broadway play. Like. Did
you go like visiting artists getting on? And stuff like that?
So you have to read their show, like the Irving Berlin show. It's just like but your reading shops get together.
So then, Zach was on the ship.
Yeah, he came out for vacation. He just finished Long to Be Loose with Wayne Krantz.
What? Seriously?
Well, he was friends with my friend Pete Davenport, who was playing drums on the cruise ship at the time. So, he came out and was just like we had an instant hookup.
Yeah,
I was like, okay. So, then I started talking about New York and, because I had always wanted to live there.
Yeah.
So then it just kind of, then I...
And were you, big into the improvisation thing then, or not?
No, I didn't know. I thought I was moving to New York to play upright and, swing jazz.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what I wanted to do. Ron Carter,
Yeah.
But I just ended up playing.
And how old are you at this point?
I was in my 20s, early 20s.
Yeah.
So I just kind of went with whatever was coming. Like, he got me on Chuck Loeb's gig, which is kind of a smooth jazz. But Chuck's a great guitar player. That kind of stuff. And then finally, he also introduced me to Laney Stern. Laney Stern, I toured with for a while.
Is this after you got to New York?
Yeah, this is after I got to New York. Yeah. So those are kind of the first gigs I started doing.
What was it like moving to New York? Was it heavy?
Well,
obviously it's heavy. Yeah, it's like wow. Yeah.
The other thing was I'm not rich, so I ended up, if you want to stay there, I had to get a job. So I ended up working 40 hours a week for a couple of years, and then going out every night. And then going out on top of that. Do the hang and sit in, so it's a lot of.
And when did you sort of figure out that you weren't going to be swinging like Ron Carter and you were going to be doing your thing?
Kind of almost right away, because people started hiring me in electric, and I was just like, all right, well, I kind of suck in electric, but,
Had you been playing upright on the ships?
Yeah.
Not electric?
Both,
Dublin, yeah.
But, it just ended up going one way, and, I still play upright, I still get hired to play sessions and stuff, but it's half the people don't even know I play, it's funny. Even though, actually one record I did last year, with this kid Michael Walney from Germany. He won record of the year jazz-wise.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. It was Actually, it was fun because I was kind of playing with them a lot, and they're good, young, feisty.
Yeah.
Feisty guys. So anyway, but that was that was actually my crowning moment in jazz.
So,
upright.
like, when do you sort of like, because you've sort of got a really like signature style, right? You know, and and you're known for that, right? You sort of like.
I mean, I guess. I mean,
you know, like when I hear you like playing with Uri Caine and
right,
and you know, and all the Wayne Krantz and that, I'm like, oh, it's Tim, right? When did that start? When did that start developing?
Well, it kind of started with Wayne actually. I kind of had like a couple like moments where like my mind was blown by somebody, and so like I kind of figured it out. Like first, bass influence wise, like in the '90s, it was Michelle and Diego.
Oh right, okay,
it was Daryl Jones, like Daryl Jones and Marcus Miller, and like. But then Michelle came up with that record, like
That one, yeah. Right. What's it called? Where she's,
yeah,
she's on the front. Yeah.
And that's when I started playing with Wayne. So like if I'm sort of self-taught, but if I could say anybody's my teacher, it would be Wayne, because like he was just like, don't play anything devicey, don't do this, just play original shit. And so like Did
he tell you what he wanted? Yeah.
Well, kind of sometimes, like, but not too specific. But like, yeah, I mean, I have to read his charts, which are hard. But then the improvisational stuff was like rhythmically, it was another thing. Like that's, and also at the time.
What, rhythmically specific?
Yeah, well, conceptually it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was coming, it was evolving out of the Zach era into the Keith Carlock era, and actually Keith was developing all that amazing shit he was doing. But back then, my mind was just like, okay, because like you can't. I also figured out pretty quick that you can't come in like playing James Jamerson-y, Jocko-y shit with that band, because it's like machine gun notes all the time.
Yeah.
So kind of like it was better to just pin it down. Like I could play weird rhythms, but it just kind of be bigger stuff.
And had they been influences up, Jocko and James Jamerson?
Oh yeah,
you into them? Yeah.
I mean, Jamerson not so much until recently.
More Jocko.
Yeah, Jocko definitely. Just because like, and more like because of his balls. He just had improvisational balls.
Yeah,
he
just went for it, didn't he?
Yeah, you can hear it like on this one. What's that record? It's a Weather Report record. It's called Night Passage.
Oh yeah.
Right. This is live track on it called Madagascar, I think it is.
Yeah.
He goes for some shit, and you can hear it in the middle of the tune. Like you can hear, like I think it might be Erskine. Someone's going, woo! Like that kind of like what made my head. And I was like, okay. Like you can, in other words, you can change stuff up and like see how it goes, obviously. But
So when you were like playing with Wayne, you had to sort of like. Were you sort of like, you made like a conscious decision, you were like, right, I can't play that kind of vibe on this gig?
No, that was, I could on that gig.
You could?
The problem was that you can't play, especially when Keith started, it just like to play a lot of notes a lot, didn't really kind of work.
Didn't work.
Because it's just like so much going on. So I kind of like that, kind of just figured out how to play like bigger shit, like bigger notes and like put pedals on it, like just kind of like just stuff that would underpin it better. When did
the whole effects thing happen?
That was kind of at the same time, because like when I was playing with Wayne.
Was there a time where you went to a gig without a pedal?
Very rarely. I always came with the octave pedal.